Okay, this is a limiting reagent problem, and we're starting out with 100.0 grams of Fe3O4 and we've got 100.0 liters of CO. Those are both reactants, so we're going to see which one of these ends up being used up first. So in the spirit of what we've been talking about, let's say we use my cheese sandwich analogy. So 2 bread and 1 cheese makes 1 sandwich. If we have 6 slices of bread and 5 cheese, I hope you can see that what we would end up with is 3 sandwiches, because what would happen is that we need 2 slices of bread for each sandwich, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. That's how many sandwiches we can get from 6 bread, and the number of sandwiches we get from 5 cheese is 5, but since we don't have enough bread to get 5 sandwiches, we're going to have 2 slices of cheese left over because we can only make 3 sandwiches. Alright, so we're going to start off with this one. The process will be that we'll start off with a number of grams of Fe3O4, figure out the number of moles of Fe3O4, and then divide by the number of moles of Fe3O4 in the reaction equation. Do the same thing with the CO. Figure out the moles of CO, then divide by the number of moles of CO in the reaction equation. That's going to give us 2 mole ratios. Whichever one comes out at the smallest mole ratio, that'll be the limiting reagent. Alright, so we've got 100.0 grams of Fe3O4, and we're going to figure out the number of moles of Fe3O4, which means grams of Fe3O4 goes on the bottom to cancel those grams. Moles of Fe3O4 goes on top. And the relationship there is 1 mole of Fe3O4 is equal to 231.55 grams of Fe3O4. Alright, times, and then we've got a line, and we're going to have 1 over 1 mole of Fe3O4 and that's going to give us 0.4318, and that's a mole ratio. Everything cancels here, so we don't have any units left on this one. 0.4318 is the mole ratio for that one. Now we're going to do the same thing over here with the CO. And we've got liters of CO here, so we need liters of CO on the bottom, and we need moles of CO up here. The relationship between these, 1 mole and 22.414 liters of CO, times 1 over 4 moles of CO. So what we're doing is we're taking these moles of CO and dividing by the moles of CO in the reaction equation. That's the same as saying times 1 over 4 moles, and that gives us 1.115 as our mole ratio. So the one that's got the smallest mole ratio there is the Fe3O4, so that becomes our limiting reagent. That's the one that ends up being used up first.